Hey everyone, welcome to Tuttietalkssense, and I am Tootie. Yeah, I'm over here trying to do this commentary before my kids get home. So, I'm a little tired, and it's only Wednesday. I'm like, it was videos I meant to make last week, but I ain't get around to it. So, let's go with the old and on to the new. Okay, so I tried to make a little note so I could be a little bit more organized because my mind be going everywhere. So I'm going to start with the oldest, and then come back to the newest. So it was Nick Cannon said that 80% of women need help with their body odor, right? And I'm like, my first thing that came to mind was that maybe it's 80% of the woman that he deal with, because he deal with non-black women or racially ambiguous women. So I don't know what their mama told them, but most black households, cleanliness is next to godliness, is what I was raised with. So I'm like, then I remember back a year or two ago where it came out like all these Caucasian people were saying that, well, they don't a lot of them don't use towels if they when they when they take showers. Put the soap on their hand and wash it. I'm like, you ain't exfoliating, you ain't getting up that dead skin off. Then what's her name? Milan and Ashton Kutcher came and said that, they don't take bath that often. Like when the funk hit, that's when they go and take a bath. And then it was Jake, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, y'all. But then Brad Pitt says he uses baby wipes. So I was like, it could be just the women you're dealing with. So then when you go and look into the, because I want to say he said this on Angela Yee lip service podcast. And then I'm like, initially I was thinking it was him. I'm like, maybe it's you. You got all these, kids, all these different, it ain't even the amount of kids, it's the different baby mamas that you're entering different vaginas. So maybe that ain't mixing with all the other, because your sweet thing is very, very sensitive. You have to have your pH balance right and everything. You may be over there knocking women pH balance off, by taking, liquid from this one and messing with that one. But he said that's not the case. So all I can think of is just maybe it's the women you're dealing with. He said, because one of the statements was like, he wouldn't think that the woman, get off private jet, name brand and all that. That mean nothing. Maybe she was just busy. She'd be busy. And according to them, they don't wash until the funk hit them. So, that's in the middle. So maybe that middle funk didn't hit yet. And so they weren't washing. I don't know. So switch up the type of women you're dealing with. But then Kevin Gates was on Breakfast Club. And he was like, well, he agreed. Because he said there's certain, I guess he didn't say majority, but he said there was a good number of women that he have dealt with that the scent ain't right. I'm like, what is going on with these women? Why ain't y'all scent right? I smell a little sniff or something, but I'm gonna go to the doctor, everything. Something ain't right. Check it. I'm getting to it with my husband, everything, baby, because you ain't, you don't, y'all just acting like that. What they do that at? I mean, what's the comedian? I'm like, the comedian, who raised you? But then Kevin Gates was saying that you have to think of it. Some women was raised with, the mother's not around, or, then probably teach them, because it is true that a lot of older women, like I want to say born in the 60s, born in the 70s, it wasn't that that you was raised on a speak when you're spoken to, and your parents just didn't have that relationship like we have with our kids nowadays. It's just like, oh, you should know, go get in there and wash, you stink, go not stink. You know what I'm saying? So it could be instructions that's not there. I don't know. But then what Kevin Gates did say, y'all, my daughter didn't call me Had to stop the recording and start back over. So let's start over with the Nick Cannon, where he was saying that 80% of the women smells. And I'm thinking that's just the women that he deal with. Then Kevin Gates came and said that, he have ran across a number of women who smells. And he said he just teach them. I'm like, well, do your thing. But then what he said was that majority of women who have acne get that bum wop down there, okay? I'm like, you mean to tell me all us women out here been trying to get our skin clear since high school, paying for all that proactive and everything, and all we was doing just sending signals out there that the good is good? I said, Siri, cancel my proactive subscription because let these pimples show. And I'm married. I don't need to let it show. That's all that's important. So now let's talk about this Neyo. So Neyo and his wife, right? I'm making sure. Let me make sure I get these notes right. So Neyo and his wife, his wife went to file for divorce. So it seems as if, now I don't know if y'all remember a couple of years ago, maybe 2018, something like that. No, it had to be further than that. Because he met this woman. He met his current wife in 2015. His first, which was not his wife, it was just his baby mama. That he have 2 kids with her. Now that's the girl that he had convinced to get her tubes tied. Didn't marry her, was engaged to her. Didn't end up marrying that girl. Told her that he was going to have a vasectomy and then didn't. Then left the girl. And she got her tubes tied. But her name is Manyata is how I'm gonna say it's pronounced, but he got 2 kids with her. But she out there living her best life. She married, look like she doing well, look like she happy. Okay, now this girl Crystal is who he ended up being with after her. Don't know. It's rumored that he was cheating with her while he was with his first baby mama. But if it is, that's some hell of a karma. So what it's saying is, like my little Google, because all I did is Google, because I don't know these people. So what it said in Google was that he met Crystal, and this is an interview that he did. He said he met Crystal in 2015. Then they got engaged within a year. They got married that next year and had their first son. And that was in 2016. In 2018, he had his second son. In 2020, Neyo filed for divorce from Crystal. Then that was March of 2020. He filed for divorce from Crystal. Then he proposed to her on New Year's Eve in 2020. So I guess that's December 31st. So he filed for divorce in March, but by December they back together. Ends up proposing in December 2020. So then they have their daughter in 2021. They will renew their vows in April of this year, 2022. Then in August of 2022, that's when she filed for the divorce. And that's when she went and made her statement. I don't know exactly what app it was on, but everyone's talking about after the 8 years of being with him, that he's unfaithful and she's tired of holding it in, and that he's been with women, pretty much, I don't know, escorts, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, that, he paid for to be with, and it's unprotected. Then she said that he has a child through one of these transactions. Now, I was saying that, I want to say it was Tasha K Live. I want to say it was on her app that she had put out there. When she discussed the subject, she was saying that it looks like it's like a break baby. During that time that they had broke up in 2020. During that time, because the baby and Crystal baby is like around the same age. But from everything I'm saying on social media, unless these are old pictures, the lady come out and post pictures of her pregnant. So unless she's posting old pictures, it looked like that lady is pregnant now, and he cheated within the last year, because it looked like she's pregnant, ready to pop, and and that's why the wife wants a divorce. Now, if that's a break baby, that's one thing. Then, I mean, it's a break. Yeah, y'all still married. But, you know, shit happens when you break. If that's the baby for just now, girl, baby, yeah, leave his ass. Leave him gone. He can sing till he turn blue in the face, baby. Bye-bye. See you later. So, y'all know what I'm really ready to talk about? What I really want to talk about is what been cracking me up. The Irv Gotti interview. He was big mad. When I tell you mad, he mad. He can sit there and say, I ain't mad. You know, I'm just saying. No, you ain't just saying. You're saying that you're mad. It's what your face is saying. Your mouth is saying something else. But your face and your heart and the way it keep coming out in this conversation, baby, you mad. Why you so mad? Let me see. Let me tell you here my notes about it, right? So at about 6 minutes into the interview. Now this is an interview. Irv Gotti and Ja Rule did an interview on Drink Champs. Now the interview, when I clicked on it, was 3 hours. I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna watch all this. But I actually ended up watching the whole entire interview because all that was being shown was like the little clips. And I'm like, well, maybe, you know how people take clips and, you know, just put that out there, but that don't be the whole of the story. And then people were saying that Fat Joe came out and had problems with him disrespecting Ashanti, calling her a B. And I'm like, well, I ain't see that in the clip. So I went here and watched the whole thing to see what the whole thing was about, that whole 3 hours. It got difficult towards the end because he did get drunk. And it was like just a bunch of yelling and shouting. And I'm like, okay, come on. You're looking at the little time at the bottom of the video. How much more is left? Now, I want to say the last maybe 10, 15 minutes I did watch. He was just too, you know how somebody get too drunk. I do want to go back and watch it just to see how he end up ending it. Because it's hard to end a conversation with a drunk motherfucker. Because they be like, one more thing. But let me tell you. Okay. Because I drink. I know. So, let me read these notes. So, at about 6 minutes, 22 seconds mark into the interview is when he first brought up Ashanti. So, he brought up right there. He continued to talk about it for about 10 minutes. So, he talks about it until about the 18-minute mark. It's because once he brought it up, then Nori asks, okay, well, since you're talking about it, let's get into it. So, then he tell the story. That's about 10 minutes. Then about 51 minutes, he brought up Ashanti again when the conversation was actually about J-Lo. And he was saying how he was messed stuff up with working with J-Lo. But he apologized about J-Lo. But then he was like, but I ain't sorry about Ashanti. I said it and I meant it. Okay, I'm going to apologize to J-Lo, but not Ashanti. So then he said, about 1 minute, 7 seconds. Not 1 minute, I'm sorry, about 1 hour. 1 hour, 7 minutes into the interview. He's talking about how the reason why he loved Ashanti, because he never had a chick he can talk to after they had intercourse. And I'm like, nigga, you married. What you mean you never had a chick that you could talk to? I know his wife was watching this, like, grabbed her pearls. Like, I know he didn't. Because at this time, when he tell the story, you know, the clip that's going on about how he ended up finding about Ashanti and Nelly, is that he was at home watching them, and they came on the during the game. They came and it was a big commotion. They was like Nelly and Ashanti just walk in the game together. That's how he found out about them and how he was hurt. You was married. Now, there is some stuff getting thrown around. Some people saying that he was separated at the time. I think he said he was separated at the time. But at the end of the day, you were still married. Married. Okay? I got to add a T and a D and everything else up in there. Because how you going to sit there and say, while being married, not even about how you're mad that Ashanti come up in there with Nelly, but that you never had a woman that you can talk to after you done left. What you and your wife used to do? I mean, because that's the one you married, and you weren't able to talk to her. Then what y'all got together for? You just, F and just roll on over and go to sleep and think about Ashanti? Like, that's probably why you couldn't talk to your wife after y'all finished. Because you was too busy thinking about Ashanti. You probably would have ended up talking to her about Ashanti. Like, can you believe this bitch? Yes, my girlfriend. And your wife like, wait a minute. Y'all, these men is that you're reckless. Reckless. Then at a minute 19, not a minute, I keep saying a minute, y'all. About an hour and 19 minutes in, they started talking about Lloyd. I guess who Lloyd was saying to him, and then Lloyd ended up going to be signed with somebody else. He brings up Ashanti again. And I do like it about an hour and 19 minutes in. He was starting to call Ashanti Bees. That's what he was starting to call her Bees that Fat Joe was talking about. And Ja Rule did say, hey, you're going to have to stop calling her that. And he was like, man, then I thought y'all changed the subject. Why is we talking about Ashanti again? Because at this point, Ja Rule, like, I thought this interview was for us. And Irv Gotti got a documentary coming out. And he looking like, man, I thought this interview for us. Bet your documentary program, we talking about more Ashanti than anything else. And then an hour and 29 in, I will say, Nori brought up Ashanti. And he tell him that you come off as a hater for Ashanti. And that's when John was like, man, how long does hate last? It's been 20 years and you still over here hating on this doggone girl. So I was like, to me, that was just the audacity with you being married and sitting here having a problem with Ashanti coming up in there with Nelly. The audacity of you being married and you saying that you never had a girl that you talked to after you screwed. Your ex-wife now know every time she hear that song, because he tells a story of how he came up with the idea of a song, one of Ashanti's most popular songs, after they finished doing what they was doing. I'm like, his polar ex-wife is just like, was it all a lie? Oh, I be sitting there, you heard about Ashanti, maybe you ain't even worried about hurting your wife feelings. It's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. Now, did y'all end up seeing that the end of that Bishop Whitehead, the one who the bishop who got robbed, and how him and Larry Reed, that's my latest video, is about him and Larry Reed. So Larry Reed ended up going live and stuff after that because he was saying that he got these charges and everything from the FBI and all this. And so it ended up coming out that he did. His house got raided. He got these charges. I said, okay, I'm gonna follow this some more. All you gotta do is follow Larry Reed live, baby, because he been telling everything he's saying, been checking out, baby. So I said, well, we're gonna see where this goes. Is the pastor schemer or false prophet, or what's going on? We're gonna see if this robbery was real and all these court cases that they say he just skimmed people out of thousands of dollars. We're gonna see when that stuff come out in documentary, not in documentary, in court, in documents in court. We're gonna see how this all play out, y'all. All right, I'm thinking about taking one day to go live, but I don't really know. Let me know what y'all think, and other discussions. Drop some comments, like and subscribe. Drop some comments. I'm trying to think what else was there. I know there's some other stuff that I haven't touched up on, but I do hear that's my kids up there, y'all. So you know what that means. It's time to go. Let's see what we want to talk about. Let's go back and forth. Let's have a conversation. All right. Till next time. See y'all.